Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting.
Out on the edge of the battle and back, we've carried the weight and we've walked every track. From desert dust to the fire at home, we've learned how to fight, how to stand alone. But no one tells you what comes after the war, when silence is louder than the guns we bore. That's where we speak, that's where we heal, with stories too real for Hollywood reels. Welcome to the front lines you don't always see, we're warriors to battle just differently. This is our check-in, our voice, our step. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. For the fallen, the fighting, and those who came home. For the brothers and sisters who still feel alone. We're holding the line with truth and respect. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. For the fallen, the fighting, and those who came home. For the brothers and sisters who still feel alone. We're holding the line with truth and respect. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. It ain't all medals and waving flags. There's pain in the silence and weight in the bags. But we've got a mic and a mission to share, to tell the damn truth, cause somebody's gotta care. We laugh, we cry, we cuss, we pray. We honor the ones who ain't here today. From basic to battle and back to the block. This is our rhythm, our round table talk. Welcome to the front lines you don't always see. We're warriors to battle just differently. This is our check-in, our voice, our step. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. Still heavy in dreams out of reach, for the lessons the textbooks could never teach. We're sounding off, no filter, no prep. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. So if you're born with boots or love someone who did, if you swallowed your hurt and kept it all hid, pull up a chair, you're not alone. Welcome to the front lines you don't always see, where courage meets scars and raw honesty. This is our anthem, our truth intercept. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. For the ones still standing and those we've lost yet, for every single story we'll never forget. We speak so others won't forget. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. Real talk, real vets, real life. HomeFront Sitrep podcast, where the mission continues.
Welcome everybody to a Sunday edition of HomeFront Sitrep. How is everybody doing? Gunny, how are you?
You know that I'm doing good.
Yeah, I know.
How's your wife doing, by the way? I mean,
Hey,
I saw that team that wears these colors that lives south of me lost, and she was wishing and hoping that the Duke Blue Devils are going to lose. But unfortunately, they are back-to-back ACC champions.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
buddy.
She
wait,
was like,
and so are the women.
yeah,
And so was the football team.
She was like, Jesus, Gunny's going to be hard to handle.
And then
I was laughing
to watch the Paralympic sled hockey team beat the team from up north. And it is the first time in history that the men's hockey, the women's hockey, and the Paralympic hockey team have all won gold medal in the same year.
That's phenomenal.
And to top it all off, they beat Canada all three times.
All 3 times. Dude.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
All right, so big shout outs to everybody that's watching in chat. So we got Kevin and Lauren with the Van of Valor. We got Paul and Nanette Zanowick. We got Steve-O watching. Who else has said they're out here watching right now? We got actually a pretty packed house watching right now. And then we got Matt with the Life Liberty show on TikTok watching right now, chit-chatting, and a few other people as well. So super excited, man. So how was your week?
Good. Got 3 workouts in. Friday, I missed my Friday workout. I had to go down to Harrodsburg and help with some design work on a barrel head that will be the gift for the commanding officer of Marine Corps Air Station Iwakuni and the commanding officer of the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force 31st Air Wing. So they'll each get a barrel head that was usually short time ago that were on actual barrels that had bourbon in it.
Oh, nice.
So we went down there. I went down there and helped with the design work and looked at everything and changed some things around, took some things off, and I think we got them where I want them, where I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
So those will be taken off and going to Japan here at the end of April, and then be presented in May after our show over there.
Nice.
And then got my work out on Saturday. I'm feeling it today because I push myself a little more than I usually do, and I'm kind of regretting it, but I know in the long run it's going to feel a lot better. But
you know what they say about pain, right?
It's temporary.
It's weakness leaving the body.
Yeah, I mean that was that Marine Corps slogan one period of time, but
yeah. So my youngest, she's been going to the gym, and she's new. She's a new gym rat, is what she's saying. So they did a complimentary workout with a trainer.
Yeah.
Well, their trainer happened to be Chucky Williams, who used to play for the University of Louisville football, and he worked the dog turds out of them.
Yeah.
And she came home and she was like, "Man, I ain't never doing that again." I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "He worked us to death, and we told him we were beginners." I was like, "Well, that's what they do.
That's what the trainer's supposed to do."
Yeah. So she was not too happy about it, and I was like, "Bro, it'll be fine. Just keep going, and you'll get stronger." And then Grace, she went back to Richmond today. It was her first time driving herself from our house to Richmond. And then plus, we had to worry about the wind. So Mama, being Mama, she was on her phone watching like 360 the whole route, just to make sure she got there. And then, but no, she made it there safely. And, she's excited that she's got a car on campus now, and, super excited. But, other than that, the week, has been pretty uneventful, really, for this week. It's kind of like a dead period, I guess. We do got some meetings coming up for the Vietnam Traveling Wall that's coming to Mount Washington. It is coming September 17th through the 20th. So if you're in the Kentucky-Anna area, we will have the largest traveling Vietnam memorial with the Cost of Freedom tribute coming to the city of Mount Washington, September 17th through the 20th. So if you have family members that are close by, that have never been to DC to see the wall itself, this is the next biggest thing to it. So that'll be here as well, coming up. So I'm super excited about that. So, and there's some other events coming up too that we got on HomeFront Sitrep. You can go to our events calendar. You can kind of see some of the upcoming events that I got invited to. I add to the calendar.
Yeah, that's in our area.
Yeah. So what's up, Mr. Ty Cobb? How are you, sir? Sunday from Texas. But no, so traveling wise, we recently went down to Tampa for SOF missions.
Yep.
And we drove our happy butts down 13 hours, I guess it was.
Yeah, something like that.
Had a great trip down there, but that leads us into our guest tonight. You want to talk about them a little bit?
Yeah, so it's funny. So a lot of the people that's watching right now and have commented are part of the Blue Skies family. We had David Hart and Matt Miller on last year, the year before, talking about Blue Skies, and our guest tonight, him and his wife booked the travel for all the guys, gals, and the families that come in for the Blue Skies event. So they have their own, travel agency that Sandy runs most of the stuff right now. Kevin's still active duty, so he helps when and where he can when he's not traveling himself for work. And man, I've known I don't know, Kevin, 10, 12 years. Met him at a veteran event, and we tend to run in the same circles. And then he's stationed up in the DC area now. And then when I went to the Soldiers Sidelines Gala, him and Sandy showed up, and they were at my table, and we just had a really, really good time, and get to introduce them to some new folks too, and some new organizations. And they give back a lot to what they bring in for the commission side of it to the nonprofit side, and they decided to start their own, which is really cool. And I'm not gonna steal his thunder about what they got going on, but man, it's a great opportunity for a lot of folks that once they get this thing up and rolling and doing what they're doing, and especially with the contacts that they both have, and Sandy being the travel agent. And she's done a lot. I mean, she's out of the country right now traveling, and learning some stuff overseas about how they do things. And I'll let Kevin talk about that as well. But yeah, I'm excited to have Kevin on tonight. And I talked to him about it when I was out in DC, and I'm glad we could get him on so early, because here in the next couple of weeks I'll be gone, and then team stuff starts. So I'm going to be sporadic throughout the year. So I'm glad I'm able to be here tonight to have Kevin come on and talk about his military career a little bit. Like I said, he's still on active duty, so there's some things that he can't talk about. Just because where he's at and what he's doing, and rank and all that stuff, right? So all the secret squirrel, op tempo type stuff, all the OPSEC stuff. But he's had a hell of a career, I'll tell you that. And to where he's at now, from where he started, and he's originally from Ohio, and unfortunately he's a diehard fan of the Browns, and it's just amazing to hear that, because people are like, oh, I like this team. Well, why? Well, because I grew up here, but then I moved, and that team's no good. Not Kevin. As long as I've known Kevin, it's been Cleveland. That's it. So, but no, I mean, we Kevin and I, we've run in the same circles quite often, and run into each other in a lot of different places, from Texas to obviously DC, Ohio, and a bunch of other events too. But no, it's great to have him on the show, and for him to tell everybody, a little bit about who he is. He's getting ready to retire, the role he's going to be taking once he retires, and then talk about the business side of things. And then obviously the big part is him talking about their newly founded nonprofit and what they're wanting to do with that. So yeah, I'm excited, dude.
So he's a Browns fan like I'm a Falcons fan, because I've been a Falcons fan since way back when. And I don't even live near, Georgia, but I've been a Falcons fan for so many, many years. And they're like, well, people are like, oh, you need a different team. You need to root for Tennessee or the Colts or Bengals. And I'm like, no, I've been a Falcons fan since the early 90s. And I've stuck with them. And I don't know. It's just something about being loyal to a team when it comes. I think it's about the only pro team that I will follow. Now there is the Louisville Kings, which is the UFL that just started here in Louisville. Which I think there are home openers coming up in March sometime.
I think it's the last weekend of the month.
Yeah, and so
I got a thing from VetTix for the game, and I'll be gone. I'll be in Maine, so Michael wants to go. So we'll see.
I need to look into it, because I want to go and see what it's about. It's a whole different. Right now there is no pro football on, so I might have to go check them out. And they are 25 minutes from me, so we'll have to go check them out. But no, I'm super excited to bring Kevin. Kevin up. I've been following him for a little while, because you've talked about him so many times. And I want to learn what they do and see how they can help our brothers and sisters out there to relax. So without further ado,
it's not just vets, it's first responders, it's the Gold Star families. So they're wanting to include everybody out there that's making that sacrifice, protecting our freedoms, protecting our communities. And there's very few organizations that are including all three entities, right? Sometimes you get the veteran and the Gold Star family. Sometimes you get, the veteran and the first responder. And it's very rare that you get all three, or you get the veteran, a Gold Star family, and the families of the fallen first responders, but no first responders, and there's so many, and we say it all the time. They sacrifice more, they see more trauma than anybody that's been to war will ever see on a regular basis, and we've seen some things, but you got these police officers going out every single day, and they can see stuff every single. I mean, we just had a 9-year-old girl that was wandered away from her home, and they found her in a pond. Almost 30 hours later, 40 hours later, and it wasn't a regular person that found her. It was a search and rescue team, right? And they're doing that stuff all the time, and seeing all these traumatic things, and there's nothing for them, or there's very little for them. So it sucks, man. But it's good to see that, Kevin and Sandy and, everybody that's involved with their organization is wanting to reach out to the first responders and give back to that community.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's bring him up. Grace is texting me, so let's bring him up. Where'd he go? There we go. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great, Willis. Sam, good to see you, brother.
You too.
All right, do me a favor, and first, let's do this. First, I want to say thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come hang out with Gunny and I, and tell us about what you and your wife are doing. So I want to say thank you for that, and do me a favor and introduce yourself to the world of HomeFront Sitrep, if you don't mind.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you guys having me on. My name's Kevin Lombardo. I'm still active duty Air Force. I've been, started off enlisted back in '96, got my commission in 2002. Stationed overseas for my first 2 tours in Turkey and Belgium, and then came back to the States, got my commission, and just been working all over the United States, all over the world. I've commanded 4 times, so it's just been a wonderful career. I'm approaching 30 years. Hopefully, my March retirement will be approved of 1 March of 2027. During deployments and everything, as you guys know, you see stuff, you're involved with different aspects of military combat. I commanded a joint force over in Cobb Adder. I had Army, Navy, and I had 2 Marine MWD handlers that were on my team. So it's when you're overseas, you're not just Air Force, you're not just Army, you're joint force, because you never know who is going to come up on your rear and protect your 6 while something is happening. So when I was stationed down in Texas, I was going through a horrible time in my life. I had lost a daughter while I was actually deployed in Iraq. She was 3 years old. Unfortunately, my first wife and I, things just didn't work out for us, and I went into that dark spot. And I was still working, I was still doing things. I started getting invited to some of the Wounded Warrior events through the Army with my friend Sergeant Joel Tavera. So I got to go to Texas, and that's where actually I think I met Sam for the first time, jumping out of airplanes and shooting guns and all that stuff. And 1 or 2 nonprofits throughout the years have just made myself, come back to where I enjoyed living again. And then I met my amazing wife Sandy in around 2012 timeframe. She really saved me from where I was heading to. She was a very successful real estate agent down in Texas. And when I asked her to marry me, she was like, okay. She understood military life. Her ex-husband was also military. So she knew the traveling, she knew everything else. And so it's just hard for her to move her real estate license back and forth every couple of years, which is a shame that the country still doesn't do something for spouses for that. I know that they do things, but it's just not enough. And so we started looking at what's a business that she could bring with her, and we came upon a company called Cruise Planners, and it's you purchase a franchise from them. They give amazing uh, training, and so then that's when Valor Vacations was founded in about 2014 2015 timeframe. She's just working, doing different things. And then we went to the event in Ohio, the Blue Skies event. And, I've known Dave for a couple of years at this time, Dave Hart. And, he asked Sandy, like, hey, can you do some of our travel for us? Because, the lady that was doing their travel was not doing a very good job and was overcharging. We're like, charging? What the heck? So Sandy took it upon herself, and Sam, you could correct me around 50, 55, 60 people coming in every year.
Yeah.
She was doing Medal of Honor recipients, the Woody Williams and the family. She was doing just numerous Purple Hearts, prisoner of war, Guy Gruters that she's working with now. And so for the past 10 years, we've been doing a lot of stuff out of pocket. We've been, and we also get a call, from a Marine E5 saying, hey, I want to take my wife and 2 kids on a Disney cruise. We'll go through everything, and it comes out to like $16,000 dollars, and he's like, oh, my budget's only 12. So we would go out and try to find $4,000 for them to have that. So, and we were kind of successful in what we were doing, from nonprofits out there. And then, just talking to a few other people that I know that are in the nonprofit community, they're like, you guys just should start your own nonprofit. So this past year, we've been talking about it for about 3 years. And then this past December, we finally pulled the button in Virginia, filed the paperwork. It got immediately approved, which was really nice. Got our EIN, so everything for us is, back in this past January. So we're a brand new nonprofit, and we're growing in volunteer. I mean, I got over a dozen volunteers all across the country right now. Our board has some great people on it. And we were able to give out, I was able to personally hand out a check to that guy that's sitting there with that big blue hat on. Him and April came into DC. So we were able to give Sam our first check, to help him come into the, for another great event, the Soldiers to Sidelines event. So it's just something that we feel that, people need vacations. People need to reconnect with their spouse or their kids or their brother or sister. One thing that bothered me so much just throughout the years and probably forever is when a commander or a sergeant or somebody, they would brag about having 80 days of leave or 90 days of leave. And it's just like, man, if I go over, I'm around 30 days of leave pretty much all the time and stuff like that. I just think they're doing a disservice to their families and disservice to themselves. And then when they get out, they're like, oh, I have to sell back 25 days of leave. I'm like, well, you should have took that before. So that's where we would come in with the nonprofit. We have, I think I posted today, I had 21 applications. Right before I came on, we're up to 32 applications. So our application pool is growing. Now, the one thing that I would like to grow now is the donations and corporate sponsors and other things like that. So we could actually, our goal this year, to be honest, was two vacations. Next year, it's 10 vacations. So we just like to, get it out there about what Boots to Beaches is. We're at bootstobeaches.org. And again, we're getting lots of people wanting to talk to us and other things like that. But you guys were number one. You got me, and definitely appreciate you.
Well, definitely thank you for, taking the time and letting us be number one. I mean, I think that's super cool that we're the first ones that you get to be on to talk about your nonprofit and what you guys are doing, because I think it's super cool. I'm gonna throw your website up across the bottom of the screen, so as we're talking, people can actually go check it out. So it's bootstobeaches.org. So go check them out. And then, so Kevin from Van of Valor says, very interesting perspective. I sadly always put the mission first, and it did take its toll on my family. Sir, you got this right. And so he's like, we love Kevin and Lauren. They're amazing with the Van of
Yeah,
Valor.
I mean, in like after I got injured, right, everything was convalescent leave, so all my leave was occurring, and it's like, man, I got to take time or I'm going to lose it, or I got to take time or I got to sell it back, and you can only sell leave back so many times, and I was like, I'm just going to take it. So I took a month of leave at once, and the command allowed me to, and then they're like, hey, you need to get back. We got a command readiness inspection. I'm like, what? And then I'm having to do, oversee the S1, oversee the S3, oversee the S4, overseeing training, oversee dental and medical. I was like, what did I come back to, But and we do, even now, Kevin, I was gone all the time with the team, and I never took time for myself. And then COVID happened, and I realized what I was missing at home and how much I was missing at home. So now we take a vacation or two every single year, because April and I disconnected. The boys and I were so disconnected, and it's not like that anymore. And you have to take time for yourself. Compassion fatigue, mental fatigue, all that stuff is real, and it takes a toll on all of us, and it takes a toll on people in different ways. And there's I talk about going fishing all the time. Willis talks about living in the woods, and we do at least one cruise a year. And being on the water, whether it's we're in the balcony room, or whether we're in the porthole room, or whether we're in the interior room, and we go up to the deck and enjoy the sun and the waves, and it's just you and your spouse, and you get to have those conversations that normally you won't have because you're both so very busy. And what you all, you and Sandy and everybody at Boots to Beaches is doing is amazing. And it's going to allow for these guys and gals to reconnect with their loved ones again, and build that stronger bond that everybody wishes they had. But op tempo, I mean, even with the police force, op tempo doesn't allow it. I mean, Micah, even though he's a cadet, he has to request off 2-3 weeks in advance, just to get a Friday off for him to go to a doctor's appointment or something. So and he's not even an officer yet. So yeah, it's amazing what you guys are doing. And of course, we always talk about the Gold Star families, and they've made their families made the ultimate sacrifice, right? But they need time alone too, right? Especially around the Angelversary. Willis and I talked about it last month when February 19th hit. I woke up and I was in a funk and I couldn't figure out what it was, and then I realized what the day was. And it's the same with the families, especially the siblings, right? Everybody talks about the Gold Star parents, but they forget about the siblings and the aunts and the uncles, and that extended family that they had. And they need to be recognized too. And what you guys are doing with the families and including the families, and we see it at Blue Skies. Some of the families gravitate towards one or two veterans because it might remind them of their loved one, and they get to tell their story of their loved one and keep those memories alive.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Sam. In one of the things that we're growing, and what we did was when I was getting my board and the officers together, I reached out to a couple people that when we are going to go through the application process and everything, some of the things that the participants are going to have to do is we do have a clinical psychologist that is on our officers, and I think she just chimed in, Miss Susie Landolfi. She's a very recognized clinical psychologist in the United States, and she does a couple things with other organizations out there, nonprofit, and she jumped on as soon as she could. And then we also have an empowerment coach, Mr. Chris Jones. So before they go out on a vacation, they're going to talk to both of them. And when they get back from their vacation, they're going to talk to them. We don't want to forget about them, because a lot of times, and I've been part of nonprofits where you go to this event and they take pictures of you and they do things with you. But then all of a sudden after the event, you never hear from them, but they want to put your picture up and they want to use you for that. And Sam, you're talking about angel bursaries, the event that I was involved in was just this past March, or 3 days ago, March 12th, where we lost three Army soldiers that was with me, and that event. And I got to tell you, I was in a funk all week. I was by myself, and in fact, I only texted Joel Tavera today to say, hey brother, I'm sorry for not calling you on Friday, because I was just in a funk, and I just sat at home and just chilled out, worked out a couple times and other things like that.
Yeah.
But and you said police officer. My son-in-law was a Marine, and now he's a police officer outside in the Cleveland area. So I just see him, and I see my daughter and their two kids, and they have to take vacations apart from each other, because it's so hard for him to get a true 1 week off. And because he's a canine handler, they got to worry about the dog. They have to worry about other things. But I want to include first responders, the EMTs, fire department, law enforcement, and we're, even if you're a nurse and you want to put in an application, we're going to accept it. I know a lot of places, they stop at certain areas and stuff like that, but we want to, people work hard, and the things that we saw in combat, like you said, these guys and gals see stuff every day. It's a little bit different and other things like that, but we just want to get back to all those people.
I will tell you, we here in my family, we've gone on vacations numerous times, and since my kids were itty bitty, we would do cruises. And with Carnival, they give you your badge, and you start out with like a red badge, and then you work your way up.
Blue.
Is it blue first, then
blue for your very first cruise, and then it's red after that?
Yeah, so blue, then red, then I think gold, then platinum or something. So Julie and I, we're gold members. Our kids, I think, are red still. They haven't went on the cruise to get them. The next cruise, they'll be gold. And I think we're slowly coming up on the platinum. But we love going on cruises and taking our kids to places that we didn't get to go when we were younger. And I will tell you, leading up to the cruise, life is stressful. Like everything's stressful, right? We go on the cruise and we just forget about everything back home. And then once we're, on the cruise, we're, going to whatever port we're going to. My thing is, depending on how busy the cruise is. So we flew into Puerto Rico a few years ago. We flew into Puerto Rico, stayed 2 days before the cruise, got on the boat, went and did the ports, and it was a 7-day cruise. But it was like, you leave port, the next morning you wake up, you're in a different port. You go to sleep that night, and it was just like back to back. I actually like sea days in between. That way I have a little bit of time to rest and recover from, sightseeing on whatever island we're on. So that one was stupid. It was a great cruise, but it was stupid busy. And it was just like, I felt like I needed a vacation from the vacation. But I can tell you that when you go on those types of vacations, it builds that family bond a little bit stronger. And my kids, when we were in Puerto Rico, we went down to the point where they fly the kites. And then we bought kites, and we let them fly kites. We stayed there all day. And we got street food, and it was amazing just building that with you got kids that are 10 and 11 at the time, and here they're flying kites in Puerto Rico. They come back and they tell their friends, hey, I was flying kites in Puerto Rico. Some kids here in Mount Washington, where I live, never will ever get to do that. And I tell my kids, you have to stay humble, because I don't want them to feel entitled, but I also want to give them things that I didn't experience as a child, and same thing with the wife. And I think vacationing with family is amazing. Now we go every New Year's. We go down to either Florida Gulf Shores area. We rent a big house. Like this year, I think there was uh, 10 families. We rented a big house,
Wow.
and we were right on the water. And I will tell you, there was no drama the whole time we were there. And we went fishing, which is Gunny's reset. We went offshore fishing, and I think there was like 6 or 7 of us out of the whole group that went on this offshore. And man, I tell you that it was just so amazing to go out there and fish for the mango or bingos or whatever they're called. And man, it was just a blast. Other than fighting the dolphins, but it was a blast. So I love that you guys here. Here you are. You have a business, Valor Vacations, and you're like, man, let's start a nonprofit so we can help veterans and first responders and Gold Star families, because everybody needs a break. Everybody needs that time away, because like Sam said, the angel anniversary or their Alive Day, because I know Sam's got another Alive Day coming up, and he's going to be in the funk. Everybody needs a break around that time, and sometimes people just need that break just to get away. And I love that. That's what Boots to Beaches is doing, is helping these first responders, these Gold Star families, and active duty and veterans, because active duty is included in there as well. Get away for a weekend or a 7-day cruise or whatnot. I think that's phenomenal.
Well, and I think it's the best vacation you can get for your money too, right?
Yeah.
Because one, you don't have to drive. Once you're on the boat, you don't have to do anything but enjoy yourself, right? So you go to the all-inclusive, and some places you don't want to venture outside of the all-inclusive just because of some of the inherent dangers. I mean, especially stuff's going on in Mexico right now, or even Dominican Republic at times. But you go on the boat, and we'll just say it's a 7-day, and you're going to hit 3 or 4 ports. So you're going to different countries. You're getting a different cultural experience every day, even if they're in the same region. But you just look at what St. Martin is owned by 2 different countries,
French and Dutch, and
you get to experience both of those there on that same island. And the food's different, the way they talk's a little bit different, the way they live is different, and so you do that, and especially if you have your kids, now they're getting a cultural experience, not just a vacation. And you're introducing them to their food, you're introducing them to the people, you're introducing them to some things, and we always, unless we've already been there with the kids, but we always do a historical thing with the kids while we're there. Something that has to do with that specific island or that specific spot that we're stopping in, right? You go to Bahamas, there's 4 different islands of Bahamas, 5 different islands of Bahamas. But when you go to Nassau, you teach them about Nassau and what
history is a lot.
Yeah. So teaching the history of where you're at and where you've been. We've gone and walked the Mayan ruins in Cozumel, and we did some things in Costa Maya. And Miles had a friggin' capuchin on his shoulder, and he's feeding him. And you don't get that here. So and both the boys are very humble with it, and they're like, yeah, what, we went on vacation, and what'd you do? Oh, we did this, and they did this, and they all take photos, right? We all have these freaking things attached to us 24/7 for the most part. And for them to be able to share those experiences with their friends, and they have friends that do the same thing with their families, or they'll go to Alaska, or they'll go to Europe, or whatever. So getting those cultural experiences, it helps them grow as a person, and it gives them a different perspective of how we live here in the States, and that makes them appreciate the little things just a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, and like you're saying, but the cruises, we do offer everything. So if somebody says, "Hey, I want to take my kid to Atlantis down in Nassau," that is part of our what we could do. Sorry, I'm Italian. I move my
Yeah,
hands up
you're
and
good with
down
it.
all the time and everything. So, but yeah, we've gotten different things like I want to go hold a sloth. So we found a sloth tour. We found I want to go zip lining and then go hold a sloth. You can't do a zip line with a sloth, but we could do both of them for you, at a location somewhere. So we do a lot of research. So that's what we're going to be doing with in Boots Beach is we're going to try to match up a cost free, through donations, through sponsorship, cost free vacation for, and it's not really a vacation, it's a dream that they want to do. It's restorative mental health. We're going to talk to them. So we're going to match the right people with the right vacations that they are requesting. Now, if somebody says, "Hey, I want to go on a 21-day transatlantic," I don't know if we're going to be able to do that for them, but we'll see what we could do. So, but again, we're so new. We're still learning. Uh, there's a lot of things in nonprofit land that I did not know about. You have to get this form and this form. But I had a great mentor that I was, talking with daily, and she was helping me out a lot. And grants. A lot of places won't give you a grant until you have your first taxes and other things like that. So we'll, hopefully this year, we'll get our funding. Our funding is spot on. We got an incredible board of individuals, military personnel, and our treasurer is, she worked almost 40 years and 50 years in the Ohio school district funding. So as a CFO, so everything that we built so far has just been clicking, and it. I think we're moving in the right direction. Like I said, 30 applications so far, and that's just going to grow and grow. And hopefully, I could get. I would love to give 30 vacations this year if I could.
Yeah, and we talk about it all the time. It's not about the money, but at the end of the day, it kind of is, because without the money, you can't send anybody anywhere. Without the money, you can't give them that gift, right? Of, hey, let's ease the pain a little bit for you and your family. This is what we can do for you right now. And and a lot of people don't know that when you book the cruise, oh yeah, it's great. Well, some of them you can pay all your taxes right up front, and it's a little bit cheaper in your port fees and stuff like that. But some people don't know that, and they don't do it, and they wait, and then they see their bill at the end of the cruise. They're like, "Why am I paying X amount more money?" Right? Because it's the taxes, it's the gratuities, it's the port fees, all that stuff. And we always pay ours right up front, so we don't have to deal with it. It's usually a couple $100 cheaper doing it that way. But you guys, especially Sandy, and she's on cruises all the time, is well versed in that, right? And and you can talk to the people that you're trying to help and wanting to help. Say, hey, this is what it is, and these are already covered for you. If you want to tip more, you can, but it's already here, right?
And because we're based out of Virginia, there's certain laws and everything. So it's weird. If you want to go on a cruise, I could do the cruise for you, but I can't pay your alcohol.
Right.
But if you go to an all-inclusive, then that's included in that. So there's just certain things that and we put that little disclaimer out there that, hey, there are certain things that the people will have to pay for out of pocket that we understand, and they will understand too. Before they're even selected.
Yeah. So I learned early on when we were doing our cruising that like the gratuity and stuff at the end, like we hold ours back because we want to give it to the people that, like the people that take care of our cabin. We want to give the majority of the tips and stuff to them. So we hold it off, because what happens is if you just let them take care of it, everybody on the ship gets a chunk of that, right? So what we do is whoever's working in our cabin, or people that we like, certain bartenders, We want to give them the majority of it, so we hold it back, and then we divvy it up for the people taking care of the cabin. We give it to our favorite bartender. Like my wife always picks one bartender every cruise, and that's who she gets her drinks from. And it's just like, okay, all right. So I understood. Which we had a buddy, we called him Mr. Worldwide, because he loved planning cruises. You know, he had this guy on speed dial, and we would be on a cruise, and he'd be booking the next one already. I mean, that's
We
how
love those
it was.
people. We love them.
Yeah, I mean, it's this guy. Yeah, but he's always booking the next trip while we were on a trip, and sometimes even before we even got on the boat, he was booking the next one. And he's like, "Hey, this is what you need to do with your tips and stuff. You need to hold it off until the end, and then you divvy it up who you want to give it to." But like normally, we would have our vacation paid for before we got on the boat. The only thing that we didn't have paid for was the alcohol package, depending on what boat we were going on. Usually Carnival is what we normally went on. And of course we had young kids, so we couldn't go on, the adult only cruise lines, but we've done some all inclusive, like we went to the Dominican Republic. Now we went just adults only, no kids. And that was an amazing trip. Now there was some people got sick while we were there, and something I forget what happened at the resort, but I think somebody wound up not making it back home from that. But they were there before us, so I don't know what happened. So they locked it down. Something was going on with the mini bar. I don't know what happened.
I
But
remember that.
that was, doing all inclusives, like Sam brought up St. Martin, the Maho Beach Resort, right there next to the airport. Dude, that place is phenomenal. I love that place. And they've just recently remodeled it. They got another pool in place and some other things. And the good thing about that place is going there, you can rent the golf carts or the side by sides, and you get to travel the whole island. And you go to the French side, and you can get your passport stamped because you went into the French side, and it's just so relaxing.
Yeah, but that's if you fly in, right? I mean, with
No,
the cruise
even if
too, you can bring your passport, and you can pay to get your thing stamped.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's easier when you fly in because they do it right there at the airport, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if I took my passport to every port that we've been to and had them stamp it, I'd be on like my fifth book, and I don't want to do that.
Right.
Even this last trip that I took to Africa, they're like, "Oh, is this an emergency?" I'm like, "No, my other one expired, man. That's my new one." And I don't carry multiple passports with me. I mean, technically, I should, but I don't. It's like this is what I have now. This is what's current. I'm not taking the one that's expired with me. Sorry, something else you can friggin' lose. But yeah, I mean, and we pay the gratuities up front, right? Because it's cheaper, but we do book our room steward. We do tip, our servers, because when we go to the main dining room, it's the same servers every night, the same 2-3 servers. So we'll tip them. If April gets a drink, which she usually does 3 to 4 drinks the entire cruise, she will tip that server right then and there. But for the most part, it's especially for the kids, it's the first time we took to the kids. One of the shows was like an 80s rock night for the show that the dancers and everything were doing. And I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be terrible because they're not gonna know anything. And the first song hits, and they're both the boys are singing. I was like, yes, I did
you did something right.
And now it's the same thing. They're like, hey, let's go to this show. Let's go to this show, or can we go do this? And so they're excited to go now too. And it's not just the show. It's not just the cruise. It's they now want to go to certain places. Hey, I want to go here. I want to see what this place is like. So that's it with the boys.
So and one other thing that I'd like to get out there is, it's amazing how many other nonprofits that have already asked us to do things for them. And being around nonprofits over the past 14, really 18 years, you can't go at it alone. Honestly, there's some that, hey, I don't want you to touch me. I don't want to do anything like that. But then there's others where it's like, like, I'm doing this, you guys could do this for me. And that's why, when Blue Skies reached out, when uh Sacred Mountain reached out, all these different organizations reached out, because we're doing something totally different. Now there is another organization, Sam, that you support, that is our sister, they do cruises for Purple House Arts only. We've talked to those guys, and hopefully we can have a really good partnership with them.
Yeah,
So
and I talk to them,
yeah.
regularly, and I
Hmm.
talk to Rich, and we've had a few guys that were police officers that wanted to apply, or
Hmm.
veterans that had applied that just didn't meet the criteria
Right,
of
I
Warriors on
understand.
a Cruise, and we're like, and now that you guys are there, we can funnel those people to
Absolutely.
you, right? Because you guys are, it's part of your mission. It's not part
Right.
of our mission, and we'd have to rewrite everything and refile everything
Understand.
to make
Yeah.
it right. So, I mean, I can speak for Warriors on a Cruise right now, saying yes, that's a partnership that we'd love to have and do,
Yeah.
and be able to push people your way to get these guys and gals that are deserving of a cruise or a beach vacation somewhere.
Yeah, those guys from there are awesome. Got to meet them last year,
Yeah.
and everything there. So, but if I can, I know we're getting, you guys got some time, but just impact of how things work out. And I think, Sam, it was 2 or 3 uh, years ago at the Blue Skies event where Joel and I were there, and after we did our introductions and Dave Hart introduced the new Gold Star families that were in that day,
Yeah.
one of the Gold Stars, and again, I didn't know who was coming or going. My wife did all the airlines and
Well, I think
everything.
they were local at the time.
No, she came in from North Carolina.
Okay.
So the family that I'm talking about, and this lady came up to Joel and I and said, "You're Joel and you're Kevin." And we're like, "Yes." And she goes, "My husband, Sergeant Bradley, he was the one that was
Oh, yeah.
driving the vehicle that was
Mm.
hit and killed in action on March 12th."
Mm.
And so that was a moment where you just go, wow, like it couldn't have been planned. Of all the hundreds of events throughout the year, and my wife had did her and her daughter's travel
Yeah.
to come into Dayton, and I'm still friends with her, and she asked me to come down to do to present her with her house that she got mortgage free through an organization. So I was a Air Force guy at a event for an Army soldier who lost his life. But you just don't know who you're going to meet in these situations, and that was a wow moment for me and Joel.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of that has happened at Blue Skies.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You
We are
look
not
at
the
the Zons and the Groves,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um,
That's right.
and so myself and John Brzezinski knew each other prior to the first Warrior Weekend, and then that's how I found out about it. I got an invite from John, but I served with his son. I served with Taylor, and there's the one year I think there was like 15 of us, whether it was the veteran or the Gold Star family from 3rd Battalion 8th Marines, that we had all
Hmm.
served with each other in 2005, 2006 timeframe, 2004, 5, 6. So it and half of us didn't know that we were going to be there
Right,
together. And it's just those things happen, and whether you believe in God or a higher power or whatever, you get put in those situations for a reason, right?
Yep.
And you realize that some of the guilt that you're carrying, you didn't need to carry, because
right,
the family didn't hold you responsible, right? They understood, or they wanted to know more about the incident
right.
than what was in the PCR.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things, and it's happened quite a bit. And I've seen it more at Blue Skies than I have anywhere else. And it's just one of those moments that's like, wow, you get to witness that bond that gets created between, a Gold Star family and,
Right.
you know, and a guy that served in Vietnam who served with their son who was killed, and it's like, wow, it's
Yeah.
crazy, or seeing, Guy, and I can't remember the other guy that came in that year with Guy Gruters, that they had served together. And it's like,
And
oh,
Vietnam. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yep. I
those
love.
moments, those are the moments, and we had Kevin and Lauren on last week, and Kevin's like, yeah, we did this and we went on a cruise, and Sam walks in. I'm like, you never know where I'm gonna be. You know?
Yeah, and there's a big event that's happening in DC with the Vietnam veterans. Gary Sinise is going to do a concert, and we're bringing in with Blue Skies. I think six individuals, Guy and Dazan, Zans, and a few other people. So
nice.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it on the head when you said that the man upstairs, he puts people in your life when you need them the most, and he does it for a reason. Like you never know who you're going to run into, no matter where you're at. You could be in a foreign country and run into somebody that you need to run into, and there's a reason why the man upstairs does what he does, and it's unexplainable. I mean, it's just one of those things you never know why.
Dave and Lori Hart were in Normandy a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I get this text. Do you know this person? I'm like, oh yeah, he's with the Coast Guard Auxiliary down in Lexington. And sure enough, there's a photo with the three of them. They send me, hey, good morning from Normandy.
Yeah.
You know, who goes to France and runs into somebody that you know? You know what I mean? It happens a lot. I mean, you realize how small the world is, but you find out how much smaller that military community is, right? Because we say it all the time. At any given time, there's roughly 1% or just over 1% currently serving. You know, since the beginning, so 1776 to now, you know, roughly 7% of the U.S. total population is served, and you're running into people that you know in a foreign country, or know somebody that you know in a foreign country, half the world away.
Yeah. It's crazy. That's like when we were in Tampa, you ran into first lieutenant there.
Yeah, Roberts.
Lieutenant. Yeah, first lieutenant
Roberts. Yeah.
So, you know, it's not 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon anymore. It's 6 degrees of Samuel Deeds now.
5 degrees.
But no, man, I do want to say thank you. And unfortunately, we are running short on time for Reach Across America Radio, because this episode will be aired Thursday night on Reach Across America Radio. So I do want to say thank you for coming in here and talking about your military service, even though we could only go dive into it so much because of OPSEC and all of that. But thank you for coming in and talking about Valor Vacations and Boots to Beaches. I would be doing you an injustice if I don't ask this question. I'm surprised Sam hasn't asked it already, but if somebody wanted to donate or become a partner with you guys, where would they go and how would they go about doing it?
So for Boots to Beaches, bootstobeaches.org, there is a donate tab on there to take you to one of numerous different donation points, donor box, or other things like that. If you want to give a check, there's an area on there that you could utilize. $5, $10, $10,000, everything adds up. And we definitely appreciate to those who have already donated. But we'd like to get those. If there's anybody out there with a business that wants to be a corporate sponsor, please contact us. It would be Kevin at bootstobeaches.org or info@bootstobeaches.org to get in touch with me or the organization's box. Or if another thing that we do is anything that we do through Valor Vacations, some of that money goes directly right back into organizations such as Blue Skies. It goes right back to Boots to Beaches. It'll go to a couple other organizations that we've supported over the years. So we try to do at least 10% of that each year to those organizations. And it's whatever you can give is fantastic. Hopefully over the next couple months and everything else, we'll be able to start giving those vacations. But then also, I'd love to get back to our sponsors and other things like that, maybe a 3-day cruise or a 4-day cruise or something like that, just to those individuals. Next year in March or April timeframe, we're going to have our beach gala up in outside of Cleveland, Ohio, in Hudson, where that'll be our first first real true gala. And we do have a couple of really great ambassadors. Former prisoner of war Jessica Lynch is on our team. We have Major Carol Harris, who is part of our team, and we got a couple more that are interested, and we're trying to find the right spots for them. But hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be making a couple of other big announcements on individuals coming in.
Yeah, and I know you got some other ventures that you're working that are getting ready to line up here. Once those happen, you let me know, and I'll plug it here on the show, or we can have you come back on 5-10 minutes just to talk about that little next venture that you're working on.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you again. We're going to drop you down in the green room and finish out the show. But thank you again for coming.
Thank you guys so much. I definitely appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin.
Sir. Thank you,
All right,
Kevin.
bye, guys.
All right, Gunny. How cool was that, my friend?
I mean, of course it was going to be a good show because I referred the guy.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Now, I've known Kevin and Sandy for a long time, and they're great people. They got a great mixed family, and I say a blended family. And again, they are a family first family. Even though they're both doing their own things right now, she's halfway across the world cruising the Rhine, but learning the ins and outs of the European cruising, right? Yeah. To get more people from here to go over there and take part in that. And, of course, he's currently away from home traveling as well for work. So I knew it was going to be a great episode. Kevin talked to me about Boots to Beaches a while back ago, and then we talked quite a bit more about it, last month at Soldiers Sidelines Gala. But yeah, they got some things they're working on, and if one of them pans out, we definitely need to promote that and get Kevin back on the show, or I can do it, talk about it. And, how you can go to support, that next venture that they've got going on.
So I've been trying to get my wife and friends group to go on a med cruise for many years. Like, because I wanted to go back to Malta. Malta is like one of my favorite places that when I was on the med float in the Marines, Malta was my favorite port that we went to. Of course, we pulled in there 6 times, but it was just so beautiful in the history there. It was just it was a awesome place to see. And
everything, just I'm gonna throw the one that Viking, right? Everybody sees those commercials.
Yeah,
but you just pull up their site and you look and see some of the ports that they go to, some of those old timey river ports that they go to. And pull up some of the photos from those ports, and it's history. It's like old history, older than what the United States is, and it's amazing to see some of the stuff. And April and I are going to get to see some of that when we go over there in June. We're not taking the river cruise; we're doing some other stuff. But
I'm jealous.
One of those things, man, that you're going again. It's a different culture, right? And especially doing the riverboat cruise, you can hit 4, 5, 6, 7 different countries in those 7-8 days on the river. So it's just a great experience to have. And like we said earlier, just cruising in general, or and Kevin said it, if you just want to get a all inclusive in the Dominican Republic or Aruba or whatever, they'll work with you on it and see what they can get for you.
Yeah, I mean, there is so much history over there. Like you said, my wife is a history nerd. She'll probably get mad at me for saying that, but she is a history nerd. And I love history too.
I mean, she has to be if she likes UK.
Right. I would agree. But no, she loves, like, we went to St. Augustine. We went to the port or the fort that was in St. Augustine. Yep. When we were in Puerto Rico, we went to both forts there on both ends of the island. We love taking our kids doing that stuff. And now my youngest wants to be a high school history teacher. So, it's one of those things. It's like history and I've always been fascinated with world history, just in general. And when it comes to stuff like that, we love seeing the history of things. Like when we were in Puerto Rico, we went to where they did the first pina colada, where they created the first pina colada and stuff like that, and just was able to, experience all kinds of different things. But I would love to take my wife and kids on a European cruise in the Med
Yeah.
and get to go to all these different ports like Naples and Malta. But Rhoda, because everything goes through Rhoda. You know, everybody pulls into Rhoda, and go to these different ports and let the wife and kids experience these European cultures that they've never got to experience. I I've got to experience. You know, when I was in Cartagena, Spain, or Malta, the little port city of Valletta in Malta. You know, got to experience the Italian culture. Hell, what was it in 2000? I went to the Vatican City for midnight mass for John Paul II's last midnight mass, and that was phenomenal. That was, to me, that was like a once in a lifetime kind of trip to get to go, you know, Vatican City and stuff like that. I would love to be able to go back and take my wife and kids there and let them experience that. So I don't know. So somebody on TikTok said the 31st Mew activated. Invest in Rippets and Raytheon.
Yeah.
So anyway, Gunny, it's that time of night, my friend. Are you ready?
Yeah, man. Yep.
All right, let's do it.
Gunny's Words of Wisdom.
Your character will bring you in rooms that your talent cannot.
Ooh, that's a really good one. Say it for the people in the back.
Your character will bring you in rooms that your talent cannot.
Ooh, your character will bring you into rooms that your talent will not. That's 100% there, man. 100%.
I've been in a lot of places that I never should have been, just relying on pure talent alone and being, you know, a country bumpkin.
Yeah.
But my
Your
reputation
has
put me in those rooms.
And your character will keep you out of a lot of rooms too.
Sometimes.
Yeah. You are correct, my friend. And so for tonight, we're going to do an Air Force joke.
All right.
In honor of our guest.
It's time for the joke of the day.
All right. How do you know if there's an Air Force pilot at your party?
He'll tell you.
Don't worry. He'll tell you as soon as he walks in.
I mean, you can say the same for a Navy SEAL or a Ranger, you know.
And some people say Marines do that too. So
some
I don't know. Some
Some.
Marines. Yeah. So anywho, Gunny, it is that time of night, my friend.
Yeah, man.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, remember, you're not alone. You still have worth. You still have value. Don't let the dark days win, and surround yourself with people that are going to build you up and not tear you down.
Remember, in the silence of your struggles, remember, though unseen, you are deeply held in the hearts of others. You are not alone. The uniform may come off, but the bond remains, and together we heal, we rise, and we carry each other forward. And I like what Kevin said about working with other organizations, because we do have to work together. And the key word in this is together we heal, together we rise, and together we carry each other forward. Hashtag be someone's stranger. Listen, guys, we as humans, we're more apt to talk to a complete stranger than the ones we love the most. So be someone's stranger. When you're out and about and you see somebody and it looks like they're having a bad day, go up to them, ask them how they're doing. And if they give you the red flags, I'm okay, I'm hanging in there, I'm living a dream, ask the next hard question and be ready for that conversation. It might be a 5-minute conversation, or it could be an 8-hour conversation. You just have to be ready for it and just listen. Don't try to fix them. Just listen, because sometimes they just need to let everything out. And you might be that ear to help save their life. You never know what somebody's going through.
Yeah, and it takes a village. You know, we say it all the time. You can't do this alone. You think you may be able to, but you can't. Pick up your phone, open your contact list, scroll through blindly, and hit that name. Hey, brother, I need to talk. Hey, sister, I need to talk. Hey, I need an ear. Or, how you doing today? Like Willis say, your voice just might be what they need to hear today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, I got some exciting news before we get into our community partners, which I think I'm going to add Valor Vacations into our uh, community partners. I think I'm going to add them. I'm going to talk with Kevin, see if he's okay with that as a community partner, so we can talk about them. But HomeFront Sitrep, you know how we have our shirt and our hat. We're actually getting ready to get a new storefront with 4 new shirts. One shirt is going to be just a HomeFront Sitrep shirt with the HomeFront Sitrep logo on the front. That's number 1. Number 2 is going to be hashtag you're not alone. That's all it's going to say. Hashtag you're not alone. The third shirt will be hashtag be someone stranger. That'll be the third shirt. And the fourth shirt will be a funny kind of joke. It says the spicy pineapple. It's got a pineapple grenade. And we actually changed the pineapple grenade. It's going to look, you'll have to see it to see, but on the back, it'll say tossing joy in people's life since 1906. So it's going to be, so that'll be the 4 new shirts on the new website. We're going to try to make some other ones that we can add to there. We're going to come up with some new shirt designs. If you guys can think of anything that you might want on a shirt, send us an email at homefrontsitrep@homefrontsitrep.com. So that's homefrontsitrep@homefrontsitrep.com. You can email us there. But other than that, let's go into our community partners. All right. First up, you want to talk about these guys real quick, Sam?
Yeah, SOF Missions down in Tampa, Florida, doing great things for our veterans and first responders, focusing on your mental, your physical, your social, and your spiritual health. Every program is catered to you, the individual, and you are treated as individuals while you're there too. Great 5-day program for the clinic. They do have some other things too. If you're a first responder and you're filling out the application, when you go to branch, at the very bottom of that, you will find police, fire, EMS. It's after Coast Guard, Air Force, Marine Corps, Space Force. It's after all the branches. So your application process under branch, police, fire, EMS, you can find it there. Doing great things. And then they do a 365-day aftercare program as well, as long as you complete your check-ins. Matter of fact, I just had my 30-day check-in and ordered supplements.
Same. Yeah, I just had my 30-day and checked in with Megan, who's our liaison, our 365 case manager. Ordered new supplements. I went ahead and ordered all of them. I was like, just go ahead, be preemptive, and ordered all of the ones that I'm taking at the current moment in time. Checked in with her about getting with Carmelo with the Florida Department of Veterans Affairs, working, trying to get that connection going so I can get my next step. Also talked with her about, just overall well-being. And I love that they do that for 365 days. And Kevin kind of mentioned it a while ago where, people utilize these nonprofits, and when they come back from
there's
trip,
no aftercare.
There's no aftercare. And he kind of, brought that up where that's something that they want to do when the guys come back from vacation. They want to follow up with them and see how they're doing and stuff like that. So that's super, super cool.
Well, you get the feedback too from the person of, how the cruise was, right? So say they go on X cruise line, right? And they didn't have a very good experience.
Yeah.
For one reason or another, right?
Yeah.
We can't change Mother Nature. That's the bottom line. Everything else pretty much can be taken care of. Mother Nature cannot.
Amen. Up next, Heroes Media Group. Big shout out to Adam Bird, because today is his birthday. So if you're friends with Adam Bird with Heroes Media Group, go wish him a happy birthday if you haven't done it. So And also check out heroesmediagroup.com. Adam's built a phenomenal platform for veteran podcasters, veteran authors, and everything else that he's got going on. And we're working on a side business kind of sort of with Adam. That's not yet ready to be released, but I'm super excited about the possibility of what's coming. So stay tuned for that. So go check out heroesmediagroup.com. Up next is reachacrossamerica.org/radio. Like I mentioned just a little bit ago, HomeFront Sitrep is a proud partner with those guys. We are, our show is aired Thursday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern. That's Thursday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern on reachacrossamerica.org/radio. Or you can download the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, or Audacity. I can't even say that word. Odyssey, yeah. Audacity, whatever, yeah. And search the word Reese, yeah. So go check that out. Just mentioned sameflagsameoath.com. They're going to be, we have that shirt right now, the Marine It Down shirt. That's our co-branded shirt with them. Uncle Sam is wearing it back here. Unfortunately, he still hasn't washed it yet. So he is smelling a little rank tonight. So go check out sameflagsameoath.com. Really great veteran-owned company outside of Katy, Texas. Amazing shirts, amazing hats, tumblers, whatever. We're working on, the 4 shirts we got, and then other things are going to be coming along with that. So we're going to see. Up next is eliteengraving24.com. Gunny is showing our gray and caramel colored hat with our red logo for Remember Everyone Deployed. So that's why it's red. Up next, Gunny, is
Valor Coins and Pins, owned and operated by Brent and Brian Casey, the grandsons of the late Woody Williams. They designed or produced our coin. If you need a coin, a pin, a medal, a poker chip, reach out to Valor Coins and Pins, and you can do it as simple as drawing something on a napkin, tell them what you want, and they'll send you a computer rendering, and then you just make the changes you want until you get it correct. Be sure to check your sizes because everything comes in millimeters. So if you're looking for a 3-inch coin and it reads 63, you're coming up a little bit short. So make sure you do your conversion before you say, yes, I want it. And make sure you're double checking your spelling too.
And also you got to check, like if they're going to be doing like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like putting color on both sides of it, because if you don't pay attention, you only do color on one side, not the other side. What's it called, Gunny? Like an
you can put enamel on both sides.
No, not enamel. It's something else. So, like, say the Marine coins that Numbnuts did. I can't think of his name, but you know how it was black on one side and gold on the other side.
Yeah,
because he approved the wrong proof.
Yeah.
So you definitely got to check and make sure it's exactly what you want, and it's worded how you want it, because sometimes it might come, if you don't do that, it might come messed up. So, but I will tell you that Brent and Brian took care and got it fixed. So they are good about that.
Yeah. Also RDC shoes, Darren Davis, Marine veteran, also former law enforcement officer. Right now they have the Patriot shoe, which a portion of the proceeds goes to the Woody Williams Foundation. It's a blue shoe with white stars on it. The tongue is red and white, and the top eyelets are gold to resemble the Gold Star families. And then they have the Glory Folds of Honor shoe, and a portion of the proceeds for that goes to support Folds of Honors and the scholarships for the sons and daughters of fallen service members or severely wounded service members. Those shoes are red and white with a blue tongue with stars on it. Both are very, very comfortable shoes, and they have been selected along with Valor Coins and Pins to be the America 250 official shoe and coin maker.
Heck yeah, I love it. Last but not least is HomeFrontSitrep.com. That's our website. Go check it out. We have our link to any of these veteran nonprofits, veteran businesses, veteran authors, veteran singers, all listed on there. So go check out HomeFrontSitrep.com. Also, there's a merch site so you can get our hat and also our co-branded shirt that Uncle Sam is wearing. So go check out HomeFrontSitrep.com. And then Lambo says they love their RDC shoes. I love mine too. I wear the Patriots. Who is it?
That's Kevin.
Oh, is it Kevin? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I love my Patriots. I love those things, man. They're phenomenal. So, but anyway,
that's phenomenal.
I was waiting for it. Like we always say.
Well, before, don't forget, this show was Boots to Beaches. Go check out bootstobeaches.org. If you feel so inclined, hit that donate button and, send them some love. And, like Kevin said, every little bit helps at the end of the day.
Yes, sir. Awesome. Like we always say on Homefront Sitrep, stay safe out there. We got your six.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your six.